I'm James Cracknell from World's Toughest Expeditions, and you're watching Sky Guide. This time, as I take on the world's toughest expeditions, I come face to face with Africa's wildest beasts.
Get ready to go, get ready to go.
Tackle raging torrents and battle through hostile waters.
Hippo!
To see these places in a similar way that the original guys would have seen them 100 years ago was incredibly lucky, and I was determined to make the most of it, despite some of it being quite uncomfortable, hungry, cold, and having to do things that you don't normally get to do, but also the realisation of having all technology stripped away. So no phone, no watch, no GPS, no compass. You learning and to work with the land and navigate off the land was a lesson of what they'd have had to do. In 1841, during the reign of Britain's Queen Victoria, the African interior was a mystery to the outside world. Dr David Livingstone was a 28-year-old Scot who was compelled to explore it. Over the next 30 years, he was to trek an astonishing 46,000 kilometres, uncovering Africa's secrets as he went. The highlight of these trips was actually getting to go to amazing places and seeing it as they would have seen it 100 years ago, because places I went in the African bush that if you step foot in those areas out of your vehicle, you're banned for life. But I was camping there amongst the animals, and so I was getting to see it in a very, very privileged way.
I was going maximum speed, and it's just above a bit of driftwood. So if they had charged me, there was nothing I could do. But I felt incredibly privileged and lucky to be in their environment and experience what so few people get to experience, and similar to what Livingstone experienced 150 years ago.
The worst meal I had to prepare and eat, I think, I'm not a vegetarian, but there's a difference between having some meat on your plate and then trapping, killing, skinning, cooking the meat. It is very different. I found that hard. As I bought the goats for the village, by tradition, I have to slaughter them too. It's a disturbing prospect.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll lead the way. Just take the goat out.
In terms of which one I enjoyed most, visually, Livingstone's was very special. It's being that close to such big animals you normally see in a zoo or on safari. But in terms of having to cope with things all the time, the jungle, I hadn't looked forward to it, but then being able to survive there and cope with that environment was incredibly satisfying, because it does seem like everything's trying to attack you. You know, all the nasty things you'd wish for are just put in one place. It's kind of there, and that makes it not very appealing on one hand. But then when you can live amongst it, it does make it incredibly satisfying.